Okay, so let's start with a really wild idea. What if everything you think of as real, space-time, matter, the very flow of time itself, what if it's not fundamental at all? What if it's all just an illusion, a complex structure that's built from a much simpler, deeper geometric blueprint? Well, a radical new model of the universe is proposing exactly that, and honestly, it might just solve some of the biggest mysteries in all of physics.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Is 95% of our universe an illusion? Now, this isn't just some late-night philosophical question. It's the central, nagging problem that's facing cosmology today. You see, everything we can see and touch and measure with our instruments, that only makes up about 5% of the total energy of the cosmos. So what about the other 95%? Well, we've given it cool names like dark matter and dark energy, but the honest truth is, we have absolutely no idea what it is.
In fact, this whole dark universe problem, it's just one of four major crises that are plaguing modern physics. You can almost think of them as these four huge, unslayable monsters that our current theories, as powerful and successful as they are, just can't seem to defeat.
So let's meet these monsters, shall we? First up, as we said, is the dark universe. 95% of everything is just missing. Second, you've got the inflation puzzle. What was the incredible force that blew up the universe in the first fraction of a second? And maybe more importantly, why did it suddenly stop? Third, we have the hierarchy problem. Quantum physics predicts the Higgs boson should be unbelievably heavy, but it's not. It's bizarrely light. It's like finding a feather that should weigh as much as a bowling ball, but doesn't. And finally, the biggest monster of them all, the quantum gravity divide. We have two perfect theories, general relativity for the big stuff like stars and galaxies, and quantum mechanics for the tiny stuff like atoms, and they absolutely refuse to work together. It's like having two different rulebooks for the exact same game.
I mean, just look at this. This chart is incredibly humbling, right? It just visually hammers home the sheer scale of our ignorance. That tiny little sliver, that 5%, that's every star, every galaxy, every planet, you, me, everything we've ever known. The rest of it, that vast, overwhelming 95%, is a complete and total mystery.
So how do you fight monsters you can't even see? Well, this new theory, called the Conformal Emergent Reality Model, or CERM for short, it proposes a completely different strategy. It basically argues that we've been looking in the wrong place this whole time. The solution isn't about finding new particles or new forces, but about realizing that reality itself is an emergent phenomenon.
Okay, so here's the absolute core idea. CERM suggests that space-time isn't the bedrock of reality. It's not the floor. Instead, it actually emerges from something deeper, a kind of geometric blueprint. Now think of this blueprint like it's drawn on a magical rubber sheet. It has all the shapes, all the angles, all the relationships between things, but no fixed distances or sizes. It's pure, scale-free geometry.
Of course, if you have a blueprint, you need an architect, right? In this model, that crucial role is played by a single, dynamic thing called the omega field. Its job is to take that dimensionless rubber sheet blueprint and start stretching it, scaling it up, shaping it. And in doing so, it literally breathes life and physics into it, building the universe we can actually see and measure.
So you can really think of this process of building reality in 3 steps. Step 1, you start with that scale-free, dimensionless blueprint. Step 2, the architect, that omega field, gets to work. It starts stretching and shaping that blueprint, and in the process, it introduces the very concepts of size and change. And step 3, from that action, physical reality as we know it is born, complete with time, gravity, and distance.
Now, I know that sounds like a beautifully abstract idea, but here's the incredible payoff. This model claims that this one single concept, this idea of an emergent reality built from pure geometry, can elegantly slay all 4 of those monsters we talked about earlier. And it does it without adding any new exotic particles or any weird fine-tuning.
Let's start with the big one. This is probably CERM's most radical claim. The decades-long hunt for dark matter particles and some mysterious dark energy is completely misguided. They aren't stuff you can find. They are simply the observable geometric side effects of the omega field doing its job, building our universe.
So if dark matter isn't a particle, what in the world is holding galaxies together? Well, the theory predicts something called Omegon solitons, and this is just a brilliant way to picture it. Don't think of halos of invisible stuff around galaxies. Instead, think of them as stable, dense wrinkles or knots in the very fabric of space-time itself created by the omega field.
These geometric wrinkles have mass, they have gravity, they bend light, and they hold stars in their orbits, just like we thought dark matter was supposed to.
And here's where the evidence gets really compelling. The standard model predicts that dark matter should be packed really densely into a sharp cusp right at the center of galaxies. But when we actually look, we don't see that. We see a flatter, more spread out core. Amazingly, CERM's geometric solitons, which are predicted right from the theory's first principles, naturally create these flat core profiles that perfectly match what we actually observe. No tweaks, no adjustments needed, it just works.
Okay, so what about dark energy, the other 70% of the universe? Well, in this model, it's even simpler. It's not a mysterious energy pushing things apart at all. It's just a direct consequence of the omega field itself growing over cosmic time. This steady, geometric evolution is what drives the accelerated expansion of the universe. And as a really nice bonus, it also helps resolve the Hubble tension, a major disagreement we've been having about how fast the universe is expanding today.
Next up, that inflation puzzle. The theory suggests that the quantum particle of the omega field, which they call the Omegon, is the perfect candidate for the inflaton, the field that kicked off the Big Bang. And here's the most elegant part. Inflation automatically shuts itself off as the universe expands, and its curvature flattens out. No magic off switch is required. It's built right into the geometry of the system.
And finally, the hierarchy problem. Why is the Higgs boson so weirdly light? CERM proposes that its mass is directly tied to the omega field. So as the universe expands and that omega field grows, it naturally shields the Higgs from all the enormous quantum effects that should be making it super heavy. The universe's own growth literally protects the Higgs particle.
Okay, so this model provides this beautifully unified story. It's very compelling. But a good story isn't enough, right? This needs to be testable science. And this is where CERM really shines. It makes a whole series of very specific, very falsifiable predictions that we can actually go out and look for with our telescopes.
So, here's what it predicts. It suggests we'll find some very specific twisting patterns in the light left over from the Big Bang. It predicts a very particular signature in the gravitational waves from the early universe. It says the universe's expansion rate isn't constant, but changes in a specific way over time. And it forecasts unique patterns in maps of ancient hydrogen gas. The key here is that these aren't just vague ideas. They are concrete signals that our next generation of telescopes are literally being built to look for right now.
Now, if any one of these predictions is confirmed, wow, it would represent a complete paradigm shift in how we understand the cosmos. It would mean we're stepping into a totally new vision of reality, one that's built not on particles and forces, but on something much, much more fundamental. A quote from the paper itself just captures this new vision perfectly. Spacetime is emergent, entropy is geometric, dark sectors are redundant. It's a universe where the arrow of time is just a property of geometry, and where that entire dark universe we've spent decades searching for was never even there to begin with.
And this leaves us with one final, pretty profound thought to chew on. If this model, or something like it, proves to be correct, what does that really mean? It suggests that the fundamental building blocks of everything we see and everything we are aren't matter or energy. They're pure, dynamic geometry, an intricate cosmic illusion that has somehow, against all odds, given rise to us.